is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing? Welcome back here today to another episode of the Just Ballin' podcast. We are going to be reacting to the Ringers 2025 NBA mock draft today. I love just kind of picking each outlet's brain, knowing what they think just ahead of the 2025 draft, because it is cool that these guys are going to get intel. These outlets are going to get intel. They have a philosophy on how they think how this draft is going to end up. But honestly, after like the first three picks, this draft is wide open. I think there is a consensus number 4, but we may never know given what Charlotte did last year. So I'm really excited to see what the Ringer thinks about for this upcoming draft class. And this is by Kyle Mann, or Jay Kyle Mann and Danny Chow. Their main draft guy used to be Kevin O'Connor, who's now working at Yahoo. And that is another mock draft I can react to as well. So we'll start off with the first two picks. No surprise, it's going to be the 1-2 you see on every board. The only thing that could change is the team logos ahead of the draft, and that's if the Spurs trade number 2 or somehow the Mavericks trade number 1, which I highly doubt is going to happen, at least for number 1. Yes, the Spurs could trade 2 if Giannis Antetokounmpo was on their team. What if a team like Charlotte or Washington offers an absolute haul for number 2 and San Antonio can reshuffle their assets? Maybe, but I doubt it. I think that is going to be the consensus 1 and 2. And then we have a kind of somewhat consensus 3 and 4 in terms of mocks. It would be different if you looked at a big board. But yeah, we have Ace Bailey going number 3 to the Philadelphia 76ers. I thought it was interesting that Brian Windhorst, like he was talking on ESPN about some of the bigger, or his storylines he's looking into most this offseason. And that was the NBA draft. And he mentioned, like, could Philly try to trade up to number 2 with San Antonio? Now, I don't know if they would have enough. You'd probably have to dangle Justin Edwards. You would have to dangle those future Clippers first rounders and some of yours. It would take a decent amount, I think, to move up. Now, it didn't cost that much for the Celtics to trade down with Philadelphia. I mean, that Kings pick had some good value at the time back in 2017 when Philly traded up to get Fultz. But I do think, like, it could realistically get done if San Antonio was like, you know what, we can get an additional 2 or 3 first round picks. We can trade down one spot and we could take somebody we kind of like a lot in Ace Bailey, but we would just be afraid of taking him at number 2. Because we wouldn't hear the end of it. So, yeah, Ace Bailey at number 3, Charlotte at number 4. I like the idea of VJ Edgecombe a lot. He's my number 3 player in this draft class. I do have him one spot ahead of Ace Bailey. I just think he has a lot higher of a floor in the NBA level. But I do think Ace Bailey, yeah, for sure has a higher ceiling. So, number 5, we have Kon Knueppel going to the Utah Jazz. Okay, that's like the first time I feel like I've seen that. That is pretty high for Kon. I do think Kon is going to be my 5th or 6th ranked player in this class. Actually, I kind of lied to you. I don't know if Ace Bailey is going to be number 4. There's a chance he's 4 or he's 6. I'm really starting to work out the tier of like, okay, who am I definitive on? Trey Johnson, Kon Knueppel, and Ace Bailey. I think those 3 guys are like, they're pretty much 4, 5, and 6. But I got to figure out who is where because the Kon Knueppel tape is so good, man. There's not many weaknesses to his game. I just don't know if I like him in Utah. I would love him in Philadelphia. Would love him in San Antonio, where he's ready to play playoff basketball. He goes to Utah. His first playoff game may not be till 2028, which is unfortunate. It is wild, though, that, like, Halliburton has made it so far in the NBA playoffs 2 years in a row, and LaMelo Ball is yet to make the playoffs, given where they were on the night of the 2020 draft. Okay, I think I would disagree with Utah. I think Trey Johnson fits what they're building a little bit more. 6 Kaman Value-Watch to Washington. Okay, I've yet to see this really in a lot of mocks. Now, I think there is some appeal to building like a Twin Towers out there between Kaman and Alex Sarr. I know Alex Sarr is a power forward right now, but I think when you're going to get the best out of him in today's modern NBA, he's going to be a 5 because of his ability to space the floor and be an elite rim protector. We're about to watch that with Evan Mobley, and I think there is a chance they trade away Jarrett Allen this offseason, and Evan Mobley can become a superstar at the center position, and I think his value is going to go up a ton. I think if Sarr can reach his ceiling, that's where we're going to see him as well. I don't think we're going to get there for Jaren Jackson Jr. just because he's not the best rebounder, but yeah, I don't know if I love the idea of Kaman and Alex Sarr now that I think about it. So I actually dislike this pick a lot. I think Derek Queen could fit this team a little bit better because Queen can play off of Alex Sarr offensively because he's a good ball handler. And Sarr can be the 4 offensively. Queen can be your 5 offensively. And then Sarr can be the 5 defensively as well. Just because I just like Queen's not a great defender, but Sarr can help him out. I just don't know if Kaman and Sarr would work long-term, and I kind of want them to hit on this pick at 6. 7, we have the Pelicans taking Jeremiah Fears. So a little bit of a drop here for Trey Johnson, who's going to go number 8 to Brooklyn. I like Fears at number 7, but if Trey Johnson is on the board, I don't care that you need a point guard, I'm taking Trey Johnson. I'm cool running out Zion Williamson as your main ball handler. It works out so well the last 2 years, and I know Zion can't show that he can stay healthy out there, but I'm taking best player available if I'm New Orleans. Kaman is off the board. You need a center, but I'm taking Trey Johnson with the 7th overall pick over Jeremiah Fears. Brooklyn gets Trey Johnson an 8 home run pick. Now, he's going to get some comps to Cam Thomas, and if you make the selection, I would think about a Cam Thomas sign and trade this offseason, but I'm taking best player available once again if I'm Brooklyn, and that would be Trey Johnson for me. So I like this a lot for them in this mock. I'm interested to see now who they get at 19, 26, and 27. Kasparis Shakuchonis to the Raptors at 9. So with Derek Queen on the board, I think they would go Derek Queen here because of a positional versatility. I think they would also really like Carter Bryant. I think Masai Ujiri is probably going to fall in love with him. Probably already has throughout this pre-draft process. I don't mind Toronto going point guard because I do wonder Emmanuel Quickley's role to like where he's best suited. Because I think Emmanuel Quickley as like a 6-man, where we saw for the Knicks in the 2023 season, where he finished runner-up to Brogdon in the 6-man of the year voting, and leading up to the Anunoby trade is where he can really get his most value. It's just now that he's making over $30 million a year, it's hard to justify bringing that guy off the bench. But I don't mind the idea of Quickley playing a little bit more off ball and getting a true ball handler and facilitator, initiator in there in Kasparis, who is a good shooter, can operate under the pick and roll, and Quickley will get some phenomenal looks, especially if they think about trading RJ Barrett this offseason. So that was my 2 cents on basically the Raptors. And I think they're a fascinating team to watch going forward. If they're going to, like, they just extended Ingram. Barnes is obviously their guy going forward. Do they move Pirtle? Do they move Quickley? Do they move Barrett? Are they going to be a sneaky Giannis team if he were to be made available? So we have Carter Bryant going to the Rockets at number 10. I mean, he's like in this range for me on my big board. So I'm okay with this. He's, I don't know about a project, but I think is somebody that isn't going to be super, like, he's not going to have a great feel for the game in terms of driving to the basket, getting downhill right away, just because we didn't see a lot of that at Arizona, and I think that's going to come. He's a big body. He's super physical and strong. The form looks great. The 3-point shooting numbers were fantastic at Arizona, and I think he has a chance to be a great stretch forward because he can be a true, like, two-way defender. He can guard on the perimeter. He can guard in the interior, but it's going to come. And I think Houston's not a bad fit for him because, one, he gets to be coached under one of the best defensive coaches in the NBA, especially for this new wave of talent, and Ime Udoka. Tari Eason out there is also a great guy to play with. Ahmed Thompson as well, to learn from and just build a connection and chemistry with over time. And Şengün, the way he can operate out of the post as a hub, and he can find the open man on the weak side. Carter Bryant can operate in that dunker spot. He can kind of be an Aaron Gordon for this team eventually. He can get a lot of spot-up looks, which was his bread and butter at Arizona when guys like KJ Lewis and Caleb Love were finding him in the half court. So I like this a lot for Houston. I do. I like this more than Derek Queen. I also have Carter Bryant ranked ahead of Derek Queen on my big board. Number 11, speaking of Derek Queen, he's going to the Portland Trailblazers. I don't know. Oh, man, if Portland, I think I would love Carter Bryant, but he's off the board. I have Jace Richardson ranked ahead of Derek Queen. I would probably go that route as well. I do think Queen can play off of Donovan Clingan, but I just think there's not a spot for him going forward. I think I would like to take somebody on the perimeter at number 11. Honestly, I would like to take somebody on the perimeter, and I don't think Derek Queen is going to be a great shooter in the NBA, at least not right away. But he's a great ball handler for somebody at 6'9". This team has a very crowded front court with Time Lord, Aiden, Grant, Denny, Clingan. So if this team is staying the same this offseason, which I would like to think that they're going to trade some of the veteran big man, Queen is not going to have a lot of minutes next year. And I think development is big for him. I would not be surprised if he's in the G League next year at times. But hey, he does have really good offensive potential in this league. I worry about the defense, but him playing with Donovan Clingan in the front court could be good for him long term. Jace Richardson to the Bulls. Now, one, I don't love the Bulls grabbing a guard, but if they do what I've been saying for the last few weeks and maybe for the last year, trade Kobe White. I think you can get a really good haul for him. Or if you're going to not re-sign Josh Giddey this offseason, then I'm okay with you taking Jace Richardson. Jace Richardson isn't a true point guard. You hope that he can be Kobe White one day, but the offensive metrics are phenomenal. The tape is phenomenal. The way he's able to create his own shot, even though he's 6 foot without shoes, the way he's able to finish at the rim. I think he's a better prospect than Rob Dillingham last year. And Jace Richardson can come in right away and be a terrible defender, and then he's really going to lose some value in this league. But I think there's true offensive talent there. Comes like an incredible work ethic, son of obviously an NBA legend, Jason Richardson, which you're going to hear probably a million times on draft night. But I don't mind Chicago going there because I do think this is around best player available. Third team, the Hawks going Yegor Demin. I kind of hate this. A really good passer, good playmaker. I mean, hey, this team could use a backup point guard for sure next year. I think the Kobe Buffkin experiment has not worked out so far. I don't think that's a hot take to say. And this pick is from the Kevin Huerter trade. And this can also be like a good spot for Yegor to develop under Quinn Snyder and can learn from one of the best playmakers in the NBA in Trae Young. I just think like between your next pick that is going to be in the 20s from the Lakers, what is it, 22? There's a lot of talent I like on the board that can help you in so many other ways. Thomas Sorber's on the board. Asa Newell's on the board. Rasheer Fleming's on the board. Nick Clifford's on the board. So I just like, for Atlanta specifically, Colin Murray-Boyles is on the board, right? I would go Colin Murray-Boyles there at third team. Danny Wolf, 14 to the Spurs. Okay, Danny Wolf, two-man game with Wemby in the front court. I can get it intrigued about for sure because Wolf can play off of Wemby. Wemby can help him out defensively. Wolf can run DHOs. He can run with the ball in his hands. He can operate DHOs as somebody that is kind of the screener, the big man there, where you have Castle and Harper inevitably, or predictably. Yeah, right, De'Aaron Fox. Danny Wolf is not near Sabonis' talent, but hey, can be in a similar mindset there, or can kind of play in a similar play style to what Sabonis did with De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. I like this. I actually think this is a more intriguing fit than Thomas Sorber, but I just don't know if this would be a San Antonio type pick. I think with Colin Murray-Boyles on the board, that's who I would take. Okay, so we have Cedric Howard going 15 to the Thunder. I think I've had him mock 24 to the Thunder. I love the idea of Danny Wolf and OKC if they were to keep the pick at 15, but he's off the board. I mean, does the greatest defense of this generation and maybe this century want to add Colin Murray-Boyles, the second best defender in the draft? I would think about that as well. I mean, Cedric Howard is an immediate 3-and-D guy that you think maybe long-term is going to replace somebody like Aaron Wiggins or Vu Dort when you inevitably can't afford to keep everybody. I mean, I love that. And if Sam Presti likes Cedric Howard, I should like Cedric Howard a little bit more. 16, Nick Clifford to the Orlando Magic. I mean, this team needs shooting or a point guard, and you're you're getting a solid shooter in Nick Clifford. I don't think he's the safest shooter in this class. I would like Nolan Traore here at 16. I would be comfortable about taking him there at number 16. If they were going to make some type of trade this offseason, and maybe they're moving some of their big men, I would think about Asa Newell just off value here. But Rasheer Fleming, I like a little bit more than Clifford. But, I mean, I don't hate Clifford as a prospect. So I just don't know where he's finding minutes next year with Isaac, Franz, Paulo, Tristan Da Silva. I guess you're giving up on Caleb Houston and Jett Howard and those guys as well. I'm an Anthony Black. Colin Murray-Boyles to the Timberwolves at 17. I don't think he falls this far on draft night. If he does, then maybe that's going to make me think, okay, scouts, GMs, they don't really believe in Murray-Boyles' offensive potential in the league. But he's such a skilled defender. On the ball, off the ball, as a post defender, perimeter defender, point of attack. He can do it all. He moves well for somebody at his weight of 240. If he could be a 34% three-point shooter in this league, higher than 73% from the line, he's going to be an extremely valuable player. Ben Seraph, 18 to the Washington Wizards. I like Nolan Traore more than Ben Seraph. I think the court vision is better. I think the transition play is better. I think finishing at the rim's a little bit better. I think he's a better passer. Seraph has a little bit more size. There's a chance Seraph is a better three-point shooter. But I think as kind of a shot creator and somebody that has a step-back jumper, a pull-up jumper, I like Traore's form and confidence and his skill set a little bit more than Seraph. So DC took him on earlier. I would like Nolan Traore more than Seraph because he's higher on my big board. 19, Brooklyn gets Asa Newell. So they end up with Trey Johnson and Asa Newell. I love this for them so far. Asa Newell, I think, is a lottery type talent going all the way here at 19. You could trade Claxton. You could let Day'Ron Sharpe walk. Newell is somebody that is a lob threat right away, especially for Trey Johnson, who can throw the lobs. Great screen setter. Good rolling to the rim. We'll see how he's going to be competitively on defense, but I think Jordi Fernandez and Brooklyn and what they're building is a really good environment for him. Will Riley to the Heat at number 20. High upside wing play here. They could end up moving off from one of their wings eventually. Like, are they going to extend Jaquez? Are they going to extend Jovic? Robinson's probably not going to be on this team in a year from now. Maybe after this offseason. You can bring somebody that can kind of learn and develop in Miami. I like Rasheer Fleming. I like Nolan Traore. I like Liam McNeely maybe more than Riley there. McNeely goes 21 to the Jazz, where we've seen him go kind of a lot. And I think these mocks, and I think if he's on the board at 21, the value is there. Utah ended up getting Concacaf earlier. So it's funny that in mocks in March, February, it was the Spurs get Con Knipple at 7 and Liam McNeely at 12. Now, here's where the Jazz are getting Knipple at 5 and McNeely at 21. I would just take Nolan Traore here. I would take Thomas Sorber here. I would take Rasheer Fleming. I would take a lot of different guys that are on the board than Liam McNeely. If you already went Con Knipple earlier, Sorber to the Hawks at 22. So, hey, okay, then I can now stomach Yegor Demon a little bit. If you're going to get Sorber later on, I would prefer Colin Murray-Boyles in Atlanta. Just try to make that defense even better. Because I don't think Yegor is going to really get to his value if he's going to be playing with or behind Trae Young. I love them getting Sorber here. I don't know how healthy he's going to be at the start of the year, and I think there's a chance Sorber could go a lot higher. So Indiana misses out on Sorber. They're going to land Rasheer Fleming. Oh my God, I love this. I've tweeted out that I think he does have a chance to be a floor spacing 5. Needs to get stronger and more physical. Now, he's not going to be able to guard guys like Karl Anthony Towns or Nikola Jokic or some of the more bruiser big men that have a good post touch right away, but he's got an insane wingspan, an insane standing reach that's like over 9 feet. He can be, honestly, a 5 in a pitch. He's going to get stronger, needs to develop over time. But, man, I think he'd be a floor spacing 5 with his athleticism. He could end up as one of the best players in this draft. Noah Penda to the Thunder, 24. Honestly, if they go Cedric Howard earlier and you're going to take another wing, I'm surprised we don't have Nolan Traore off the board yet because we have Walter Clayton at 25. But Noah Penda at 24, I'm fine with them taking, not like a draft and stash, but somebody that can spend time in the G League, like Ousmane Dieng. You got Nikola Topic. You already took Cedric Howard in this mock. There's not going to be many minutes for Penda. But Penda, if he hits a ceiling, is one of the best defenders in this class for sure. Walter Clayton to the Magic at 25. They need 3-point shooting. They could use another point guard. That could be Clayton. Clayton is definitely a better shooter than Nolan Traore. I just think this is kind of too far. LeBaron Faiwan at 26. Yaxel Lenneberg at 27. So, this was updated this was updated on the 12th. So these guys are going back to school. I assume this would be Nolan Traore with one of these picks and maybe a different wing at 27, maybe Cam Jones. Joan Behringer to the Celtics at 28. I know they need a big man, but I think I'd rather them take Maxime Reynal, who can space the floor and shoot threes. Yannick Conan Niederhauser is probably too high, 28. I would take Behringer over him. And I think this could have been a Condon pick, but he's going back to school. Pettiford's going back to school. Noah Essengay going 30. I'm pretty sure in the Bleacher Report mock I reacted to last, he was going 8 to Brooklyn. So there's a lot of variance in the Noah Essengay stock. I think he's closer to 8 than he is to 30. And I think he's a very talented cutter, slasher, can get downhill, use the long wingspan to finish around the rim. But we'll see how the three-point shot is going to look over the course of his NBA career. I mean, the Clippers, if he makes it to 30, I'm going off upside. But honestly, if he's there at 26 to Brooklyn, I'm taking him there 100%. If he's there at 24, I'm taking him over Noah Penda. So this is going to be just a first-round mock draft from the Ringer. But yeah, I think it's fascinating this year with guys that are going back to school because of NIL. Xavier Lee, who would have been probably a fringe second-rounder from Princeton, is going to Florida, and he's signing some shoe deal where he's going to be making $6 million. Now, after taxes, and who knows if that's fully accurate, the 11th overall pick in this year's draft is making $5.7 million. So he's going to be, on paper, technically, from what we're being told, making more than the 11th overall pick in this year's draft. So the NIL is changing the game. JT Toppin could have been a first-round pick going back to Texas Tech. I thought Yaxel Lenneberg would have been a first-round pick. Maybe he didn't get a full-on promise. He's going to Michigan. LeBaron Faiwan going back to Alabama. Pettiford to Auburn. Boogie Fland is going to Florida. Condon is going back to Florida. Florida's going to be stacked. Otega Owe is going back to Kentucky. Miles Byrd is going back to San Diego State. So many guys. Darian Williams back to Texas. No, he transferred. I forget off the top of my head where he transferred to. Is it NC State? I think NC State. And there's some other guys as well that are going back to school. And the second round is going to be interesting this year. So like in their big board, I kind of just want to kind of skim through this here because we're going to see, I don't know how deep this big board goes. It's only 49 guys. But yeah, like Hansen Yang might go a lot higher than we expect in this draft. Yannick Conan Niederhauser is going to go a lot higher in this draft. Adu Thero, who's staying in the draft, might go a lot higher than we think. Kobe Brea may go a lot higher. Sion James is going to go a lot higher. Which, honestly, I am thrilled. I'm not thrilled, but I'm, like, excited for day 2 of the draft because I think there's going to be chaos. And I hope there's, like, 2 names that I hear that I'm like, I knew nothing about these guys in the pre-draft process. Like, last year, for the majority, I believe I kind of knew everybody. Like, I can go through here, but, like, knew a decent amount about Jurisic. I think like Melvin Ajinka was the one guy I was like, okay, I know a decent amount about the name and I've watched a few games on him, but I did not expect him to get drafted. So I think that was like the one guy, but I think this year we may see some names that like even some of the most in-depth guys did not expect to get drafted. So I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the Just Ballin' Podcast and me reacting to the Ringers mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in the YouTube comment section. If you did enjoy, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It could really help the pod grow, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.